It begins as a cloudy liquid that cheesemakers used to throw away and ends up as the powder in your shaker. This is how protein powder is made. You have scooped this powder 1,000 times. But have you ever seen where it really comes from? It does not begin in a factory or a lab. It begins with a simple glass of milk. Most protein powder starts as something called whey, and whey is hiding inside ordinary milk. To set it free, you first have to make cheese. Yes, your muscle shake is a cousin of cheese. It all starts at a large dairy. Tanker trucks roll in, full of fresh cow's milk. A single tanker can hold thousands of liters.
The milk is kept cold the whole way. At the dairy, it is tested to make sure it is clean. Then it is pasteurized, heated to kill any bacteria. Now the milk is safe and ready to work with. The milk flows into huge steel vats. Cheesemakers stir in starter cultures and an enzyme called rennet. Rennet was once taken from the stomachs of young calves. The vat is warmed to help the milk set. Something quick and strange begins to happen. The milk splits into two different parts. Soft white lumps form and clump together. These solid lumps are the curds. They will be pressed and aged into cheese. Left behind is a pale, watery liquid. This greenish-yellow liquid is the whey, and this leftover liquid is the real star of our story. For most of history, no one wanted the whey. Cheesemakers saw it as useless waste. Some farmers fed it to their pigs. Others simply poured it into the nearest river. But dumping it was a surprisingly bad idea. Whey is so rich that it choked the life out of streams. Cheese has been made this same way for thousands of years. That is an ocean of wasted protein over the centuries. Then food scientists took a closer look. They found the whey was packed with high-quality protein. The trash turned out to be treasure. So today, the whey is saved, not thrown away. It is quickly chilled to keep it fresh. Giant tanks hold the pale liquid. First, it is filtered to catch stray bits of curd. Next, it spins inside a fast separator. The spinning flings out most of the leftover fat. The whey is pasteurized once more to be safe. Now it is clean, but still very watery. In every bucket, protein is only a tiny part. The rest is water, milk sugar, and minerals. So how do you pull the protein out of all that water? The answer is to filter by size. The whey is pushed hard against a special membrane. This membrane is covered in microscopic holes. Picture a sieve, but millions of times finer. The holes are far too small to ever see. Water slips straight through them. Milk sugar and minerals pass through too. But the protein molecules are much bigger. They are too large to fit through the holes, so they stay behind, trapped on one side. It works like a net that catches only the protein. This clever step is called ultrafiltration. Engineers stack these membranes into long tubes. Pumps drive the whey through under high pressure. The whey is filtered again and again. With each pass, more water is removed. The liquid grows richer in protein every time. To clean it further, makers add back fresh water. This washes even more sugar away. This rinsing step is called diafiltration. Slowly, the protein climbs higher and higher. The result is whey protein concentrate. It is roughly 80% pure protein. This is the powder behind most everyday tubs. But some makers want it even purer, so they push the whey through finer filters still. One whey uses ceramic membranes with even tinier pores. This is called microfiltration. Another whey uses electric charge to grab the protein. This is called ion exchange. Both strip away nearly all the fat and sugar. What is left is whey protein isolate. It can be 90% protein or more, and it barely has any lactose left to upset your stomach. After all that filtering, it is still a liquid. To go further, even more water must leave. The liquid is warmed inside a vacuum chamber. In a vacuum, water boils at a low temperature. This gentle heat protects the delicate protein. More and more steam rises away. The liquid slowly thickens into a syrup. Now it is ready for its biggest change. This is the most dramatic step of all. The thick liquid is pumped up a tall tower. The tower can stand several stories high. At the top sits a fast-spinning nozzle.
The liquid bursts out as a fine mist.
Millions of tiny droplets float in the air.
At the same moment, hot air blasts into the tower. The heat hits each droplet instantly. In a split second, the water vanishes. Each droplet falls as a dry speck of powder. Liquid pours in the top, and powder snows down the bottom. The fine powder gathers at the base of the tower. At last, the protein is finally dry. But this raw powder has one annoying problem. Drop it in water, and it clumps into lumps. It floats on top and refuses to mix. So it gets one final upgrade. The powder is misted with a touch of lecithin. Lecithin is a natural fat from sunflowers or soy. It coats every grain in a thin, friendly layer. The grains even clump into larger, thirstier flakes. Now the powder soaks up water instead of fighting it. This is the secret to a shake with no dry lumps. On its own, pure protein tastes flat and a little bitter. So it travels to giant rolling drums. Here, the flavor is finally born. Cocoa, vanilla, or strawberry is poured in. Sweeteners like stevia or sucralose follow. A pinch of salt lifts the taste. Sometimes a thickener is added for a creamy feel. The drums turn over and over for a long time. Every single scoop must taste the same. These recipes are guarded like secrets.
Before any of it ships, it must be tested.
Workers pull small samples from the batch. Labs measure the exact amount of protein. They hunt for bacteria and hidden metals. They even taste it to check the flavor. A single bad batch is never allowed to leave. Only powder that passes every test moves on. Now the finished powder is ready to pack. It pours down into tubs and sealed pouches. A plastic scoop drops into each one. Machines press a fresh seal across the top. Lids twist on, and bright labels are printed. Every label must list exactly what is inside. The tubs are boxed and stacked onto pallets.
Trucks carry them out to shops around the world.
But not every protein comes from milk. Some is made from peas, soy, or rice. These crops are ground into a fine flour. The flour is stirred together with water. The protein is pulled out and washed clean. Then it is spray-dried into powder, just the same. Same tower of hot air, no cow required. And at last, the journey reaches your kitchen. One simple scoop holds so much hidden work. A farm, a cheese vat, fine filters, and a tower of heat. From a liquid nobody wanted to fuel for your day. So the next time you shake your bottle, you will know. It was never just powder, it was made.
Now it's your turn. What should we build next? Drop it in the comments. The most liked idea becomes our next video. See you there.